Hello, I'm wearing the hood because gotta do as much to hide this mess on my head as possible. Um, I guess I'll just get straight into it. I'll give you the SparkNotes version of how I got into Myers-Briggs and objective personality and Jungian typology. So, when I was 13, a MatPat video linked me to the shitty 16 personalities, and I was typed as an ENFP, and I had no idea what that meant, so I went on with my day. And about a year ago, I rediscovered it, and I was typed as an INFP, and I still had no idea what it meant, but I got into it because apparently the INFP was like this really emotional, introspective type, and I was like, that's so me. But that's that's how MBTI likes to get people, especially the stupid, horrible 16 personalities website where it literally just takes the thing that you want yourself to be and then it just confirms it for you. So, um, sometime into that, I was like, what are functions? And I discovered functions. I learned about all this, that, and the other. And then I land on objective personality, Dave's superpowers. Shan, I think her name is his wife. I think it's his wife, or I don't know. I know they're in a relationship, but I don't know if they're married. But anyway, I digress. Um, let me pause real quick. I discover them, and immediately, like everyone else who finds their channel, I'm like, this is. I have no idea what the fuck this is. So, the main reason for me that I feel like I can't pin down my type, um, is because a I listen to what those people have to say, and they pretty frequently are like, typing yourself usually doesn't go very well because you have selection bias and you're typing yourself backwards. And for a long time, I thought to myself, that means I'm a fucking ESTJ or some shit, which selection bias, yeah, I wouldn't like to be an ESTJ. I don't know, that just doesn't vibe with me, but it probably means I am an ESTJ or some shit. But regardless, once I learned about functions, I went through a whole spiel of thinking I was an ESTJ to voice crack to thinking I was an INTP to thinking I was an ENTP to thinking I was an INFJ because everyone has that phase at least once thinking they're an IDOM. So I guess I'll go in and begin to describe my behaviors in the most unbiased way that I could possibly muster. So if I were to guess between being a decider and an observer, I would guess that I am an observer. So I'm going to go ahead and um, start with the observer types. Um, honestly, I could see myself having either set. I mean, obviously you have all four, but um, your function stack. I lean towards being SINE, and I have no clue which orientation I would put that on. But to kind of vocalize it towards someone else, um, my issue is this is a big thing for me with politics. I won't go on a whole spiel about politics, but basically I am the definition of a centrist, and that it's not because I have a particular opinion towards Trump or Biden or any of that bullshit. It's more that I have such a hard time believing any of the information that comes from either of these parties, and I don't know if that says something about me or if it literally says something about the way things are. If that literally has nothing to do with my personality, with my psychology, or anything like that. But it is a repeat thing of mine where I have a very difficult time if someone comes to me and tells me something. I I don't really believe it. Um, if they say one thing about a certain person, I'll probably be sitting there like, oh, yeah, they're saying that, but there's always two sides, which kind of makes my brain scream any, but, you know, human needs. I'm still mastering and trying to hammer in a lot of the information of how these functions are supposed to work into my brain. So I know what these functions look like, but I don't know what they manifest as and what behaviors like what I just described would translate to as far as your function stack. Lately, I've taken to recording myself speaking for like 10 to 30 minutes at a time and then just watching it back, and it kind of gives me a way to, because when you're thinking, right, it's all there and then it's gone. The thoughts happen in loops, so they come back eventually, but it's still very unorganized. It's in your head, but you're trying to organize it. So what I do is I will record myself speaking, basically, so I have a place where my thoughts are stored. That sounds so fucking weird. Um, but that's just a weird habit I picked up lately, where like every now and then I'll just whip out my phone and I'll just talk, take a video like this, and I'll just speak. I even did one where I spoke about typology and objective personality. Um, that's kind of basically the same thing I'm spitting here, but with the additional pressure of someone else getting to watch it. As much in my mind that I lean more towards thinking that I might have any, I guess that the proof is kind of in the pudding that I have more evidence to suggest that I lead with SI than I do with any, because the more I try to sit here and think that I'm an E, the more I come up with generic pieces of evidence that you'd find on r/MBTI, like, oh, I'm very quick-witted, I'm created, I write, shit like that. I see me having any because I think there is a good chance that I could be an NP type, because I'm constantly going through all these new hypotheticals in my mind and like, no, it's not this, it's that, it's that, it's this. But as far as observers go, um, I really think that there is an equal possibility that I am NISE. Um, like I was saying earlier with my emo INFJ phase. This may not be something that happens exclusively to your average NI top, SE bottom person. I'm sure it could happen to literally anyone. I'm sure INFPs do this a lot, but like just going to a space in your head where you are just thinking like intensely and running shit back and like thinking forward and trying to think like, oh, this is a good idea for this. This is a good idea for blah blah blah. And like you're completely ignoring what's going on around you, where someone will literally be speaking to me and I can't repeat what they said, or just I'm not looking at the environment around me, or like I just do very dumb, simple little fuck ups because not because I'm a complete brain dead fool, which could be the actual reason for all I know. Not because of that, but because I'm literally just blatantly not listening. I've been doing a thing lately where I'm like half listening, like my brain is like going into like splitting itself in two between what's going on up here and like one ear is listening out here. So I'm like catching every other word. It's very silly, but uh, I don't know if I'm literally just interpreting that as something completely different, but I'm not sure. But I guess we'll move on to our decider functions now. I kind of have a hard time talking about these because I have a hard time passing judgment, and that's kind of what deciders are all about, is judgment. Um, so I was over here like, yeah, I think I'm SI and NE. For deciders, I believe myself to be TI and FE, not in any particular order. Um, Mainly because I this is just what I notice myself do. It's something I enjoy doing. It's something I feel good from doing. I have a very tight social circle, um, and I'm constantly trying to upkeep those people. I want to inspire these people. I try to tell them what they need to hear at all times. Um, I don't know if this is TE, but I feel like the place I'm coming at is I'm trying to update their mental place. essentially. I don't know. I guess I have some weird like superiority complex where I think I'm smarter than everyone else, and I feel like I have the need to share it or some shit, because I love these people, and I want to. I just want to share the knowledge. I've had people before tell me that I'm wise, and I love that because it strokes my ego so intensely. I love it. Probably a very DI thing to say, but and then on the other end with TI, I would say that my identity is probably very logical. Um, that sentence probably made no sense, but I'm really trying to think of a way to word it. So give me a minute. So I guess the way of putting it is, I think with TI, I think this could also apply to TE, which I'll touch on TI and FE after this. But with TI, I still think that my most likely type is INTP. Because what I notice in my life is I kind of have, and I feel like I manage it pretty well, but I notice it's just kind of like a natural instinct that I have to be more like, oh, this movie or book or album or whatever, I'm strictly way more critical um, to those type of things than other people who just love it. And instead of being all FE and being like, yeah, man, I freaking love it, I'm just like, I don't know. The Last of Us 2 wasn't that good. Yada, 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 yada. I was trying to think of other examples, but brain fart. Um, Shit like that. So, but I also, on the other end, I'm willing, like, my opinion on it really changes every time I get to a certain topic because like earlier I would have been like, oh yeah, I'm probably a decider, but now like after I'm talking about it like this, I'm starting to feel like, oh shit, I'm actually I got FE and TI. These are my middle functions. That's what it's feeling like right now because like I'm saying I probably got them, but I don't feel like I have a particular like there's like a pendulum sway fucking between them. Like I feel like one's probably dominating the other just a little bit, but not like the first and fourth like this. So I don't know. I'm probably gonna be saying something completely different by the end of this, and I feel like you're going to be able to come to a conclusion on what type I possibly am far more by what um less by the things I'm saying to you and trying to make sense out of and more the logical lapses and thought patterns I'm coming through back and forth here with. So I guess on that note, I'm gonna move on to FI and TE, and then after I'm done with that, I'm gonna go on a little extra rant to kind of get some other points across. Not to make this video fucking ages long, but just want to get it all laid out. FI and TE, I have the weakest argument for, but I want to, um, touch on it anyway for continuity's sake. Um, FI and TE, I feel like, if anything, between these, if I have them, I'm probably a thinking type because I don't think I connect with FI. I really don't. This is coming from a once self-proclaimed INFP, I know, because I'm hashtag deep. Um, I see the possibility where I'm actually a TE lead thinking EJ, probably ESTJ over ENTJ, which would suck because, selection bias. I have it. I admit it. I don't want to be an ESTJ, but if that's what I am, then swallowed. But hold on, brain farts are kicking right now. But I feel like this may be more like a maybe like a tidal wave type of deal, where occasionally I feel that I'm very TE, which I know, like I said before, we all got all the 8 functions, but just to list off moments where I've seen TE um, within myself is just kind of uh, and if what I'm saying is completely not TE, then go ahead and point that out. And if it's something completely different, you can probably get more evidence off of just my blatant indiscrepancies with what I'm talking about here. Sometimes I'm definitely more about kind of my brain does not operate in the mode of getting things done, but at times it operates in the mode of uh, let's just say inferior FI, and it's one of two things. It's either one of two things or both, or maybe neither. Where it's either I have inferior FI or I'm just an asshole. And I try to be nice, but sometimes I'm blatantly just an asshole. Um, Especially to kids, which is definitely a flaw in my character, but I'm doing what I can, man. Um, yeah. This was definitely the most rambly part, which is my bad. But like I said, I'm just saying what I can here. I don't really know what to say about FINTE, so we're just gonna move on from here. So to be less technical, I want to be a little more anecdotal. This video may run for very long, which if it is, I'm sorry. I don't like wasting anyone's time, but just for the purpose of laying it all flat and trying to give you as much information as possible, I just want to go ahead and rant about some anecdotes. So that's okay. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. High school was a period of my life where I was definitely feeling like I was severely DE in certain ways, which I think is a struggle that most people in high school have. I graduated last year, 2020, but um, a part of the reason why I was thinking for a long time that I was INTP was because I got this high, you know, reason and logic identity that just doesn't mesh well with the very human FE elements, so I kind of just felt like a fucking robot a lot. I was very socially awkward for a very long time, which I'm finally coming out of. Um, mostly just by being honest about it, by just telling people like, "Hey, I'm a fucking robot. Like, I'm a work in progress. Like, I'm trying my best, bro." Um, I had a lot of moments in school, like I can, like, can't count couldn't count on four hands the amount of little stories I have where I just completely made a fool of myself. Um, yeah, however that may have been, um, like just speaking too much in a kind of tidal wave way, I guess, because in school I was either painfully quiet or annoyingly talkative as far as high school is concerned. Elementary and middle, I just fucking spoke constantly. But high school, I that kind of dialed down a lot, and depending on the people I was around, it would be blah, 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 blah. And if the classroom was less familiar, there were occasions where I would be trying to get out there and kind of interact with the tribe a little more above the self. And like I said, I don't know if this is a whole tidal wave deal or whatever, but there it is. That's all I got to say there. I'm starting to confuse myself. A big thing with me, what I've noticed with myself since I was like 13 is I've always been less afraid of someone coming up to me and being like, "Oh, you're ugly." Like I know I'm ugly. I'm not pretty at all. I'm not pretty at all. I got fucking squinty Asian eyes, and I'm not even Asian. I got chubby ass cheeks and horrible facial hair. Like I know, but if someone insults my personality, I get very offended about that. Like being called immature was something that got passed my way a lot in school, especially freshman year because freshmen are immature, and that kind of shoved me into a very introverted place. I didn't want to be looked at that way. I didn't want to feel the way that it made me feel, and I didn't want to feel like an annoyance or a burden or like some sort of fucking freak. But at the same time, it's not like I really particularly wanted to be this crazy popular person, but at the same time, I idolized that and I strided towards being that. And like you know, I've kind of touched on this idea before. I don't know if this has anything to do with my psychology, with the way my brain works, my human needs, or if it's literally just things that accumulate when you put a bunch of fucking little children in a room and make them learn shit together. So, I don't know about that. I do, TI, enjoy a good debate though. I've always been up for debates. I've always sort of, I guess, in blast fashion, I've had a, even in, while I was very quiet, I was always that kid to try to spice things up while reading for the class. Those kids that would be reading To Kill a Mockingbird, like, and then Atticus went to the store, and then I would just like go up there reading all this wacky, zany voices and shit, um, and just try to make things fun. Because why are you gonna sit there and complain about the class being boring when you're fucking boring? So to make a very disorganized video feel even more disorganized, I do think this will come to a close soon, so bear with me. Um, uh, Animals. I did just touch on Blast a second ago. Um, I have a creeping suspicion that I do in fact have Play Last. I know what I just said about, trying to, spice things up. Um, I, I don't know. I really feel like I have some sort of struggle with not holding back in some way, at least. Um, which what I'm saying could be complete bullshit. Um, because I don't know. No one, the person you know the least well is yourself, always, because people love lying to themselves. I'm aware of this. I know I'm a liar, so I try not to lie. But me telling myself that I try not to lie is a lie, so I'm really just lying. Consume. I think as far as not uh MBTI terms, but in capitalism terms, I would call myself a consumer. I love a good story. I try to translate my consume into blast because I aspire to be a writer. I'm writing a book right now. So I consume a lot of stories. I'm trying to take in new information, but I'm constantly judging information like I was talking about before with politics, where I can't take any of it seriously. Like, I just don't believe any of it. Um, like nothing from either side, period. And I'd say sleep is probably the animal that I know the least about, but I think I touch on sleep a lot. I definitely don't think I have it last. There are a lot of moments where instead of, you know, blasting, I'm just running shit through my head. Like, I can't say properly what I'm running through my head because I don't know. I feel like I go to a very subconscious place when I'm in the sleep state, which I guess makes perfect sense actually. Um, and saying that, I don't mean literally asleep. You know what I mean. You're not dumb, but um, I feel like when I'm exercising sleep, I it's not a very it's not something that I easily recognize. I feel like if I would have to guess um, about sleep, my sleep feels very NITI. Um, Even though I was talking about SI earlier, that's just what it feels like. It feels very subconscious. It feels very like putting pieces together uh, logically and trying to come out with some sort of outcome. Um, and that sounds like TE, but that would be blast. Um, yeah, that would be blast if you're talking strictly functions there, but I don't know. I think my rant has reached its end. I'm sorry that this video ended up being 24 minutes long, but I do thank you if you end up watching it and getting back to me with some results because, like I said before, I'm an INTP, I'm an ISFJ, I'm an ESTJ, I'm an INFP, I'm an ENTP, I'm an ENFP. I don't fucking, I don't know, man. I really don't. So if you get back to me, that'll be cool. I might post this. I might straight up post this somewhere and let other people get their thoughts in. But I am sending this to a through a DM. So thanks. Thank you very much for watching.